We are living in the ruins of a failed social experiment. Modern dating is not just broken, it is dead. The era of the romantic seeker is over, replaced by a digital marketplace where human souls are reduced to pixels and swipes. Men have become commodities, and women have become overwhelmed by a paradox of choice that leads to nothing but exhaustion. This is the digital graveyard, a place where the primal spark of attraction has been smothered by political correctness, apps, and the constant fear of offending. But the subconscious mind doesn't care about your social apps. It doesn't care about your equality narratives. It only cares about one thing: biological reality. And until you realize that modern dating is a lie, you will continue to starve in a world of artificial abundance. Look around you. The nice guy is the king of the graveyard. He follows the rules. He asks for permission. He waits for a sign. And he dies alone, because he is fighting a battle with a logic that doesn't exist in the realm of attraction. Attraction is not a choice. It is a response. It is a biological reaction to a specific set of stimuli. When you try to negotiate attraction through kindness, or through status, or through your digital resume, you are talking to the persona, but the shadow self is laughing at you. The rebirth of the sovereign man starts with the realization that the modern world has tried to declaw the masculine spirit, making you predictable, safe, and boring. But the primal woman doesn't want safe. She wants certainty. And there's a massive difference between the two. In this section, we must dismantle the myth of the swipe. We have been told that more choices lead to better outcomes, but the opposite is true. The more choices a woman has, the more she retreats into her defensive frame, looking for any reason to disqualify. In this environment, your profile is your cage, but your presence is your key. The man who masters the primal lead doesn't compete in the digital marketplace. He exists in the real world, where he can use the full spectrum of his sensory power. He knows that the amygdala responds to the scent, the gaze, and the vibration of the voice, things that a screen can never replicate. By stepping out of the graveyard and back into the primal arena, you gain an immediate 90% advantage over every other man, because you are the only one who is real in a world of ghosts. This is the end of the transactional man, the man who trades attention for a chance. The rebirth of primal mastery requires you to become unbuyable. You are not there to fit into her world. You are there to see if she fits into yours. This shift in perspective is the first step in reclaiming your throne. Modern dating wants you to be a candidate, but primal mastery demands that you be the environment. When you are the environment, she doesn't choose you. She falls into you. And that is the only way a true connection can ever begin. To master the primal rebirth, you must understand the language of the nervous system. While the world is talking about communication skills, the master is talking about vibrational alignment. Most interactions fail because the man is hyper-aroused. His heart is racing, his movements are jerky, and his eyes are hunting for validation. This signal of internal chaos tells her subconscious that you are weak, and a weak man is a biological threat to her safety. To lead, you must first regulate. You must become the lead oscillator in the room. Think of her nervous system like a radio, constantly scanning for a frequency to lock onto. If you are broadcasting anxiety, she will mirror that anxiety, and the interaction will feel clunky and awkward. But if you broadcast stoic calm, if you move with the slow weight of a predator who has already eaten, her nervous system will eventually sync with yours. This is called neural entrainment. It is a biological bypass that goes straight to her limbic system. In this state, her defensive persona begins to dissolve, and she starts to feel a sense of primal safety that she cannot explain with logic. This is where attraction is forged, not in the words you say, but in the silence you hold. Tactical tension is the fuel of this rebirth. Modern men are afraid of tension. They try to diffuse it with jokes or apologies, but the master weaponizes it. He knows that arousal and anxiety are two sides of the same coin. The only difference is the frame of certainty. When you create a moment of silence, and you hold her gaze with an unblinking intensity, you are creating a high-pressure environment. Her brain will search for an escape. But if you remain immovable, if you stay stoic, her brain will eventually reinterpret that tension as attraction. You are literally rewiring her biological response in real time. This is the primal lead, moving her through the discomfort and into the surrender. Let us talk about the architecture of the voice. Your voice is a physical tool, not just a carrier of information. In modern dating, men speak from the throat, high-pitched and fast. but the primal master speaks from the diaphragm, letting the sub-bass of his masculinity vibrate in the room. This frequency hits the vagus nerve, triggering the release of oxytocin and lowering cortisol levels in the listener. You aren't just telling her a story, you are vibrating her into a state of receptivity. The slower you speak, the more certain you appear. And certainty is the only currency that matters in the primal economy. Master the pause, master the resonance, and you will master the woman. The final stage of primal mastery is the establishment of the eternal frame. Most men can act like a leader for an hour, but they cannot stay a leader for a lifetime. This is because their frame is built on tactics, while the sovereign's frame is built on identity. To be reborn, you must kill the part of you that needs her to see you a certain way. You must become transparently powerful. A man who is so aligned with his own internal truth that he no longer seeks to convince anyone of anything. When you stop trying to be the alpha, you simply are, and that is when the true subconscious devotion begins. Ownership of reality is the secret to long-term loyalty. In the modern world, realities are liquid. They change with the trends and the moods, but your frame must be solid, like a mountain. When she tests you, and she will test you, she isn't trying to win. She is trying to see if you can hold her weight. She wants to know that if the world crashes down, you will not move. If you react, if you become angry, or if you try to explain yourself, you have failed the test. But if you stay amused, if you stay heavy, and if you stay certain, her subconscious will bow to your frame. This is not about dominance in a cruel sense. It is about providing the axis for her emotional world. The afterglow of the sovereign is where the legend is born. After the intensity, after the lead, stay in the primal state. Do not revert back to the validation seeker. Maintain the depth of your presence. Maintain the slowness of your movements. This tells her subconscious that your masculinity is not a mask. It is your foundation. In this window of extreme vulnerability, you are anchoring your presence into her shadow, making it impossible for her to ever truly leave you, because she will never find another man who knows the way back to her primal heart. You have become the guardian of the gateway, and she is finally home. Modern dating is dead, and good riddance. The world is starving for the return of the primal master, a man who is not afraid of the dark, a man who is not afraid of the silence, and a man who is not afraid to lead without apology. Stop swiping, stop seeking, and start building. Master your nervous system, master your voice, and master your intent. When you no longer need to be understood by the world, you will be adored by the one who matters. This is the mind shift. This is the axis. Stay stoic, stay primal, and always lead the rebirth.